Well, this chapter formally introduces us to this Rob Lucci character and his pigeon Hattori, but really the bomb they dropped at the end, I think, was the most gut-wrenching thing for me.
One Piece, Chapter 327, Shipbuilding Island Repair Dock Number 1.
Hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome, the fantastical, the water-filled tale of One Piece. Our last chapter saw us with really being introduced to Mr. Iceberg himself, finding out a little bit about the Galley-la company, and then, of course, the end of it being that the Franky family came and tried to snatch 200 million of the berries that they had just received, the Straw Hats had just received, right out from under Usopp and Nami's nose, of course. And then at the end, this guy Paulie, one of the foremen from the Galley-la company, came in and took out the Franky family, retrieved the bags. But then once he found out there was money, and he was like, "Whoa, yeah, no, I'm not bringing that back." So, and apparently we found out this guy's in some debt and stuff too. So, nonetheless, though, that's where the chapter left off. That's where this chapter picks up. And let me tell you, this is man, it's good. It's getting better with each chapter. Just enjoying all the new characters and the scenery and taking it in. So things pick up right over. We wind up seeing this character, Rob Lucci, and he goes and he actually winds up grabbing onto Paulie. He catches up to him, grabs onto him, and says, "No, you're not going to pay your debts by stealing, blah, blah, this and that. Got to return the money, right?" So then, so obviously, you know, Usopp and Nami and Luffy didn't really seem to care to begin with. He was just like, "Oh, it's cool. The pigeon said he got it." So this Rob Lucci has this pigeon Hattori that speaks for him, and I don't know if they allude to the fact that maybe this guy Rob Lucci does speak, but maybe just speaks through the pigeon as like a ventriloquist. Because after they come back, first of all, they ask about what the deal is with this frickin' Franky family, right? And I don't care what any of you say about, "Oh, you gotta understand, Jim, the pirates are bad and the government's good." It's not as black and white as that, first of all. And second of all, the Franky family, they're no better than pirates. They're no better than the scum of the earth, because he explains that they're bounty hunters and that they're thieves. They go and they steal and they dismantle people's ships. That's what they do, pirate ships. And they've got free reign to do that. So they're basically the scum of the scum. They're the thieves that steal from the thieves. So there's nothing good about them whatsoever. At least not that I can tell so far. So any of you that want to try to put a spin on that, go right ahead in the comments, but it's not going to change my opinion. Yes, the pirates inherently, what you would say, oh, they're bad, they're outside the law. Nonetheless, though, it's bullshit to go and dock somewhere and to constantly have these idiots going, first they're attacking on the ship, then they're going and trying to steal suitcases of money. You know what they are? They're freaking scavengers. They're crows out in the desert that are trying to pick the bones clean of a dead body. That's what they are. They're scum of the earth. Nonetheless, though, after we wind up getting the money back and Hattori, the pigeon, winds up introducing... he introduces himself, he starts to introduce himself as, "I'm Rob Lucci," and then he goes, "Wait, no, I'm Hattori the pigeon. This human here is Rob Lucci." So Luffy the whole time is hilarious. He's like, "The pigeon's talking. The pigeon insulted you. The pigeon, you, his arms are fighting words." So Luffy's really excited about the pigeon. And then he makes a joke, or not a joke, but he makes a good case for, you know, yeah, you're just talking through the pigeon type of thing, you know. And I think Nami even says something to that effect as well. Nonetheless, though, we'll move on from the pigeon over here. So we wind up seeing, though, Rob Lucci and this Paulie, they kind of get into it over there because Rob goes and smacks him, you know, for what he did, for the trouble that he caused, right? So it winds up, and we know that obviously that this Paulie can use, he's you know, like the mast and rigging foreman, so he does a lot of stuff with ropes. So he goes and jumps and spins and throws ropes around Rob's arm, and he's like, "I got you, hook, line, and sinker," you know? And like trying to pull off this awesome, dastardly move, you know? And Lucci just goes and frickin' like does this cool ass like handstand and like spins, and then he like plants his hand in the ground and just like, and then Luffy even looks, he's like, "Man, he must have some strong fingers." He like dug his fingers into the ground, man. I was just like, wow, you know. So this dude's obviously got some good strength, and he's gonna be somebody we're gonna have to keep an eye on. So nonetheless, so the next portion of the chapter takes place. Mr. Iceberg over here, the mayor of Water 7, takes them into Dock 1, where it's like their biggest area, where they work on all these huge commissions and everything. And it's just beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I had to save the page. Had to save the page to show everybody. Those of you, obviously, that are reading along or rereading or own the volumes, whatever, you know what's in here. You know what Oda does. Does a great job, though. And honestly, I appreciate his art. I like his art, but I like some of the backgrounds that he draws. I think that he just really stands out as a creator, a visionary, as far as just the backgrounds. when he creates a scenic backdrop somewhere, whether it be Water 7 or Alabaster or just some little village, you know, off on some island, it all looks cool. The Drum Kingdom looked cool and distinctive, and you could tell it was that, not by the descriptions, but by the look, you know. So he does a very, very good job of that. Anyways, they go in there, and Luffy's like, yeah, we need a carpenter for our for our crew. How about you, old man? Mr. Iceberg's like, what, me? I'm the mayor, you know. He's like, but, you know, if you don't have a carpenter on your ship, listen, if anybody here is willing to want to go and become a pirate, you know, by all means, go right ahead, you know. You can go ahead and take him. And Luffy's like, oh, how generous of you. And he winds up saying that basically what, you know, what it is with them is that they don't take shit from nobody. They don't take shit from pirates, and they don't take shit from the government. They're obviously contracted by the government to make some of their large vessels and things like that. But for the most part, these guys are like, you know, they're the ultimate tough guys. You know, because as they showed a few chapters ago, these guys have no problem with handily whipping some pirates' ass if they don't want to pay their bill or whatever. So, but for the most part, they seem like good, hardworking people, except for, of course, this Franky family. So then, as they're going and they're kind of walking around looking at all these different things, and Usopp's like, oh, a brass cannon and this and that, you know, he's looking at, all of a sudden, poof, like some of this Franky family appears behind him, and then the next panel, he's gone. So we can assume that they took Usopp, I guess. I don't know, because they don't show him at all, and this is the end of the volume, and they don't show him after that. Anyway, what winds up happening is Kaku winds up getting back, right? And he gets back, and he's the one, of course, that was going to assess the damage on the ship and if they could fix it. And this is really where my heart sank, and I can feel where this one's going. I kind of called it, but it's one of those situations where I'm terribly upset that I was right. I could never have been, you know, I wish I was so wrong, is really what it was. Because anyway, they wind up getting the shit, because he comes back and he says, listen, and they say, okay, what can you do? What's the damages, you know? And he says, you're never going to be able to sail again. And I was like, what? What do you mean we're never going to be able to sail with it again? And he goes on to explain a little bit about, you know, you don't understand, the damage is so bad that even if we did go, and even if you sunk a bunch of money in it to try to repair it and build it up the best you could, this thing's chance of getting to the next island on the Grand Line is 0%. And I was just thinking, oh my god, man, you know. And then, and to some people, they may not care. It's just a ship, it's wood, it's this, it's that, you know. But I'm telling you, to me, for reading this now for 327 chapters, 326 chapters, whatever, it's been around since like chapter 40, I think, 41. It's become a part of the characters and the crew themselves. It's become something that in the anime I've seen all the different antics that happen on the ship. A lot of the different funny things from the characters, little quirks and things that happen in between the adventures, the islands on the ship. I mean, it's been everywhere, you know, and man, it's just really, really heartbreaking to think that they may not be able to have it anymore. Now, I don't know, but it does say at the end, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good at all. You know, it says, and what it is kind of a flashback of Kaku when he was actually doing the estimate, you know, and he was talking to Zoro and everything like that, and Zoro's like, will you really never sail again, you know? And that's what he said. He said, you know, Mary, will you never sail again? And I was just thinking, my God, man, what a freaking way to end the volume over here, you know? I'm gonna have to dive into the next one and see what happens, but I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not too happy or excited about it. I understand that things, I guess, I'm going to reserve judgment for the next couple of chapters because they didn't give a real good description on things, you know, but to me, anything can be rebuilt that's built out of, you know, brick and mortar, wood, metal, whatever. It may not be perfectly the same as it was the first time, but anything can be rebuilt in my mind, so I'm going to reserve judgment, and I'm going to wait to see what they say in the future chapters over here, but definitely a gut-wrenching moment when I read that, and I just, man, not good at all. So that's how the chapter ends up. My chapter question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is I guess really, you know, what were your thoughts on Lucci and Hattori, the pigeon? I really liked it how Luffy kept, you know, directing his anger and his things towards Hattori, you know, and he even told Paulie, you know, after they got into this fight and everything, he's like, why'd you attack him? It's the pigeon who insulted you, you know? and Paulie's like, I don't care, it's him who attacked you, it's him who hit me, you know? So really, what did you think about the interactions with that? I'm going to reserve judgment again. I was going to ask a question about the going merry and everything else, but I have a feeling that hopefully things will be explained in the next few chapters a little bit better to me, and then I'll probably ask that question. So leave your answer to the question that I did ask in the comments down below, or really whatever you feel like, but, you know, obviously that question, that's what I'm asking. So feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Remember to follow me over on the Twitter and the Facebook and my other channel if you just want to be in the know.